Hello Trenchers, this is another Iron Sultanate video, but this time about the House of Wisdom, aka the Chefs of the Sultan. The little twist in the House of Wisdom is that your Warband leader is an Alchemist, and you can have another Alchemist if you want, or Faris, which is using Janissary's stats, but have the elite keyword. So it's like a pumped up Janissaries kinda. I imagine them some kind of similar unit to Mamluk Faris. Then we can have also Brazen Bull, Line of Jabir, Homunculus, Sapper, and instead of Azeb, there is Kavas. And for mercenaries, there is the Mamluk Faris, the Scripture Guardian, and the Trench Dog. And as for special Warband rules, as I mentioned, you can have Alchemist maximum, which is pretty cool. Only disadvantage is that none of them has the tough keyword. There is the Pride of Jabir, which is increasing the number of lion you can use from 2 to 3, which is also very useful in some situations, I think. The Private Venture says you cannot have any Azeb, Janissaries, Captain or Assassin in your team, so that's why you don't see it in the initial unit list. The Noble Guardians are technically the Faris, you can have a maximum 2, and they use, as I mentioned, the Janissary stat line and have the elite keyword as an extra next to the strong. The Kavas means your regular unit is the Kavas instead of the Azeb, but they cannot have the Skirmisher keyword, but instead for +5 Ducat they can have their melee characteristic improved by 1, so they will have 0 dice. And there is the weapon collections, which is pretty cool. Lets you to select a 1/1 weapon from New Antioch and Trench Pilgrim. Here the white sentence is the important because it was a little bit updated later, so that's why the wording is a little bit confusing. You need to focus on the white section. So 1 New Antioch and 1 Trench Pilgrim weapon, that's it. And there is 5 special keys you can choose from for your Alchemist, but each Alchemist can have only 1 in active. And the first one is the Medicine, which is technically an improved medkit. It lets you to remove either 2 blood marker or 1 infection marker, and this is with 1 extra dice action. The next one is the Cartography and Geometry, which is giving Infiltrator keyword for 2 of your units, but this cannot be Alchemist or anything that larger than 32mm base, so technically your smaller units. The Secrets of Tekwin is technically making your Homunculus a bodyguard, and if you park it next to your Alchemist, it can take the damage instead of them. It's a little bit similar to the Corpse Guard skill in Black Rhea. The Chemistry and Alchemy is giving you the option to place an extra obstacle on the map, which is giving possible injury and blood marker to the enemy. In my opinion, it doesn't seem too useful because the enemy can just simply go around it, so I'm not sure it's a useful one, but... And the last one is the Philosophy, Poetry and Theology, which in my opinion is maybe the most useful, because this is giving +1 dice for the morale roll, and giving the Alchemist and another unit the Ignore Fee keyword, which is very useful in my opinion. There is 2 special equipment in House of Wisdom, and the first one is the Elixir of Al-Qadir. Don't ask me to say it again, I don't know how to pronounce it. Point is, this is giving the tough keyword to one of your units, but you cannot give it to your Line of Jabir, Brazen Bull or Homunculi. So this is the way to make your Alchemist or Faris tough. But this is a consumable item, which means you need to buy it before every match. And the other one is the Fire Shield, which is a limit 2 item, so doing the same as a Trench Shield, but as an extra, it ignores the extra blood marker from any fire keyword, and the mentioned fire weapon or fire attack suffers a -1 dice penalty on the injury roll as well. So this can be very useful mostly against flamethrowers, because there is not much other flame weapon, some grenade and spell, but that's not that common. Maybe later there will be other weapons, but right now the best case to use it is against the flamethrowers. Regarding the weapons you can choose with the weapons collection. For New Antioch, I think depending on which warband you're facing, maybe the best options are the grenade launcher, the heavy flamethrower or the automatic rifle, but it's really depending on which warband you're playing against. For Trench Pilgrim, I found only one logical possibility, which is the anti-tank hammer. So if you have any other idea what can be chosen with this skill, let me know in the comments because I'm curious. But yeah, so I think these are maybe the most logical choices, but maybe there is some other alternate pick which makes everything more interesting, let's say. But yeah, let me know. What I made as a mistake in the previous video, thanks to my ignoring brain, is that the reinforced armor only can be used if your unit is elite. So most of the options I shown in the last video is working in that case, but otherwise those are valid. But as for House of Wisdom units, we have technically one that worth to talk about because the Kavas and the Faris is technically similar to Janissaries and Azeb, so everything is there in the previous video. But the Homunculus is a little bit trickier. These units link to the Alchemist, so if you have one Alchemist you can have one, if you have two Alchemists you can have two. And as a base unit they are 6-inch, +0 ranged and melee. They cannot have anything, but they cannot die, which means if they die you can rebuy them for 40 ducat at any time during the campaign. And they have the same artificial body as the Lion and the Bull, so -1 dice during injury roll, which is very annoying to fight against. So the Homunculus is an upgradable unit, let's say, so you can spend more money on it if you have. And you have technically two directions to go. One is the flying one with wings, but this restricts some other options that you cannot choose, like the massive size and the human hands, which means your Homunculus will be like a fast, smaller size flying unit. If you choose not to make it a flying one, you have several options. You can make it melee, ranged, some kind of problem solver, or someone who stands next to your Alchemist and guarding it. And the options are very wide because you can make regular shooting or fighting melee unit with various upgrades like ignoring fear, getting plus dice for melee, plus dice for dash, and so on. On the other hand, you can go for increasing the base size, which is, let's say, you making a bigger Homunculus, but in exchange you can have something like using Brazen Bull only weapons, which is very funny because in that case it means you could have technically 3 Brazen Bull, which is very terrifying to be honest. So really the possibilities are kind of, I'm not saying endless, but very wide, and it's really up to you what kind of Homunculus you want to do for which role. But what you really make to do as a decision in the beginning, do you want flying one or do you want ranged one? As for weapons, you can give it whatever you want if you have the proper upgrade, because it can let you use weapons, equipment, also armor. So this is a very versatile unit and I think it's a must in House of Wisdom. My only, let's say, sadness is that I'm not sure why they not giving you the option in the vanilla Iron Sultanate list to have at least one, because you can have one Alchemist there. So for me it's a little bit not clear why it's written like that. I hope they're going to, like, let's say, hotfix it in the final rulebook this month. If not, we will see if they're going to change it or not, but so far, based on this, the Homunculus is restricted only to the House of Wisdom. So this is the House of Wisdom. I think it's a very adaptable warband, thanks to the Homunculus and the Alchemist and their various skills they can choose from. If you have any favorite unit or unit loadout, let me know in the comments because I'm curious what other people cooked up to use. Also, favorite Homunculus combinations are welcome because I'm also curious about that one. If you have any other feedback, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching and listening. See you in the next video.